Hello, welcome to SAP Virtual Resources, where small businesses find clarity and confidence in their finances. I'm Sarah Page, a financial expert with over 25 years of corporate accounting and 3 years of helping entrepreneurs master the world of bookkeeping and accounting. Each week, I'll share practical tips and insights to help you navigate the complexities of financial management and drive your business forward. Join me as we unlock the keys to financial success. And this week it is another one on tax deductions, travel expenses. This is one of the ones that can cause some issues with audits on your tax returns if you are not careful and diligent in making sure that you're reporting accurate numbers. So, one of the top things with business travel, the trip needs to be primarily for business. An example that I can use myself is last year I attended a conference in Orlando for my business. It was to help with my business growth and the running of the business. So it counts as a business expense. I did attend Universal Studios for one day after the conference. The charges for the hotel that extra night and for Universal Studio, those are not business expenses. They cannot be deducted. Uh, your meals can be deducted. Your airfare can be deducted. If you use points for your airfare, your hotels, you can only deduct what you actually pay. So let's say that you had enough points, your airfare was free. Your cost to deduct is zero. You can't deduct those because you didn't pay anything. And of course, always keep your receipts. Other charges that are deductible, yes, your meals, your taxi or Uber, make sure you have receipts. Most cab companies can give you a receipt, so make sure that you get a receipt. Even if it's handwritten, have something because it's very hard to prove that you've had that expense if you don't have any proof. And receipts is the easiest, best way to show proof. So some of the big ones is, sorry, my background is being very weird tonight. I will apologize. Some of the ones that trip people up, you go to this Orlando conference, Disney World is right there. Well, actually, it's Disneyland, isn't it, in Florida? It's right there. Well, you're going to take your spouse and your kids, right? You go there. Their cost of travel is not expensible unless they work for your business and they are there for an actual business reason. When I was researching this, and again, I am not a tax expert, I just keep track of this to make life easier for my clients when they go to file their taxes. If your spouse works for the business, but all they're doing is coming along to take notes, the IRS said, no, that doesn't count. They have to have a legitimate business reason to attend. They're getting training. They're part of some of the roundtable masterminds. They're also on stage promoting the business, or they're running a booth. A lot of conferences have booths from vendors. So you could be attending the conference, your spouse could be running the booth. That's a legitimate business reason. But going to take notes, the IRS said that doesn't count. So they have to be, like I said, a employee of the business and have a legitimate business reason for a spouse or family member to be included in the expensible, well, the deductible expenses. So some other things that you could do. Do you need to ship samples, display materials, baggage because you don't trust the airline not to destroy it? This would be between your regular and that temporary location where you're going to be at that conference. You're using your car, you rent a car. If you rent a car, it says you can only deduct the actual business use of the vehicle. So if you rented a car to also be able to run around the area, the only part that you can really deduct is back and forth from the airport to the hotel where your conference is, going out to business lunches while you're there. It isn't going to cover the entire cost if you also are visiting various places in the area. So that one could be a little tricky trying to figure out how to differentiate. And of course, it falls under the vehicle where it could be the actual cost or it could be the standard mileage. And for me, renting a car and trying to figure out how much of it, I probably do it with standard mileage. But that's just me because that makes life easier. Like I said, your lodging, definitely, and if you get discounts, points, whatever, it's only what you actually spent. And if you do have family traveling with you and in the same hotel room, you don't have to break that up because that's the cost you would have spent no matter what. Unless you go from a room to a huge suite. Then check with your tax person because it might only be able to write off the cost of a room for 1 or 2 people. But I don't know for sure on that. Tips. If you pay tips to the taxi driver, to the waitresses, again, write them down on your receipt, but those are deductible. Something that I don't know that counts so much anymore, business calls while you're on your business trip. Most of us anymore have cell phones, so we're not being charged an exorbitant rate using the hotel phone. Fax service, if you have to fax something back to the office while you're traveling, that can be deductible. So ordinary and necessary expenses for your business travel, that is what can be deducted. If you have questions, let's set up a time to talk. Let's do a consultation. Let's go over your specific needs and see what we can do to help you out. And have a great Wednesday. I'll see you next week.